The commissioner's office had no comment except that the charges are completely unfounded. Now, the search is still on for a new home and family for Buck and Hallie Wiltsey, two young residents of the Santa Barbara Children's Home who are fighting desperately to stay together. Now, as I reported earlier, this 9-year-old boy and his 6-year-old sister face being separated if somebody can't be found soon who's willing and able to adopt them both. These children are asking for what is a basic human right to protect their family against the invasion and encroachment of the state and of well-meaning private citizens. If you've got room in your home and in your heart for a couple of very deserving children, please call us here at KSB or at the Santa Barbara Children's Home at the number that appears on your screen. This is Eden Castillo for KSB. I love my husband, Cruz, more than anybody in the world.
Could you say that line with a little more conviction, please, Miss Castillo?
I'm gonna have to hit you. Are you trying to put words in my mouth, huh? Put that in my mouth.
So that broadcast didn't work the other day?
Oh, well. You know, some people think that it was a cheap ratings-getting tactic. Harvey's upset with me, but I don't care. I mean, if it works...
You knew it wasn't going to be easy. It's just a fact. Most people who adopt want babies, and usually one at a time.
Yeah.
So you ready to head for home?
Yeah. You know, I'd actually like to stop by and see Buck and Hallie, and I want to talk to Sister Allegra. She won't return my calls, and her secretary keeps pushing me off.
Well, you know, the issues that you raise with this thing are probably pretty difficult for her. I doubt she likes you.
I know. But if I show up without the cameras and the lights, and I don't budge, then she has to talk to me, doesn't she?
Brandon?
Hi. I just saw you on TV, and I got my Grandma Phyllis to give me a ride over.
Well, what's the matter?
Well, the kids you've been talking about from the children's home, I'd like to help.
Oh, okay. How do you want to help?
Well, I could be like a big brother to the little boy. Maybe he needs a friend. I mean, somebody who's still a kid. So in that case, if he does lose his sister, he'll still have somebody.
Well, Brandon, I think that's a great idea.
It sure is. But I think I should warn you, pal. He's kind of a proud kid, this guy Buck, and he might get a bad attitude if he thinks you're doing him a favor.
That's okay. I'm like that too sometimes. But I'm lucky. I got a great mom who adopted me, but I still get to be around my real family too. And all of you guys. The only problem was too many people wanted me to live with them, not too few. I've never had to be in a place like Buck is. But if I was, I wouldn't mind a kid who lives in a big house with too many toys and games and bicycles came around and wanted to be my friend, you know? You like basketball? It's okay. The Lakers are my favorites. I got an autographed picture of Magic Johnson. I saw him play on TV once.
Listen, Buck, maybe you want to show Brandon around this place?
Not much to see, but if he wants to. Sure.
I thought they might do better by themselves.
Not exactly a match made in heaven, but...
Well, you know, you gotta...
Sister Allegra, I've tried to call you.
I'm sorry, I haven't had time to return your calls. We've been very busy making structural repairs. It's an old building, you know, things keep breaking down.
Yes, I understand that.
Who's
but
the boy I saw with Buck?
That's my stepbrother, Brandon. He was interested in meeting Buck, so I brought him by. I hope you don't mind.
Buck is busy with homework and chores before dinner.
They'll be right back. Buck is just showing him around a little bit.
Yes, sister, I just wanted to talk to you for a minute, and I'll get right to the point. I was hoping that we could work together in publicizing the children's needs, especially in Buck and Hallie's particular situation.
Mrs. Castillo, I appreciate your good intentions. But sometimes even the best of friends who do not understand the system under which we operate can give us even more problems.
What kind of problems are you talking about, sister?
You have selected 2 of the children to put on public display.
I haven't displayed
all
them.
but ignoring the rest.
But because that's what you
and you
had
have
me interview them.
Told them that somehow the solutions are simple, and that those of us who care for them are, I don't know what, somehow insensitive.
I am not accusing you of bad faith. I am just saying, in this particular situation, you are wrong.
I'm afraid I have bad news for you. We cannot delay Hallie's adoption any longer. It isn't fair to Hallie. No applications have come in for both children, and I would not forgive myself if I lost the chance for one of them to have a good home. Now, as I told you, we will make sure that the children have opportunities for regular visits together.
You're going to send Hallie away, aren't you?
Now, Buck, it's not as though you wouldn't be able to see Hallie any longer.
Sure.
Sister, could I possibly speak with the boy alone?
All right. But don't make promises that we can't keep.
Hang in there.
Brandon, how would you like to read a story to one of the younger children?
Okay. Which story?
We'll pick something.
That lady, she came back again this morning to see Hallie. I thought you said you were going to get rid of her and find some place for me and Hallie to be together.
Well, we have been trying, but you see, the problem is there are kids on the outside who are waiting for a place here, and the nuns can't keep stalling them forever.
Then why can't she adopt the both of us?
Well, she's alone, and she doesn't feel that she can handle taking care of both of you by herself.
She doesn't have to take care of us. That's my job.
I know, and you do a real good job of it. But maybe you're too young to have to work that hard, Buck.
You're a cop. You could make them leave us alone if you wanted to.
Okay, now here, in this situation, I'm not. I'm just a private citizen. But we're still hoping that,
I don't believe you anymore. You're a liar.
I never lied to you, Buck.
People who don't keep promises are liars.
Now, I told you from the beginning that I can't make promises about this.
Liar.
Buck?
Liar!
Buck?
I have to answer to the people who donate the funds that allow us to keep our doors open, Mrs. Castillo.
But what about the children? They're the ones with the most at stake.
You don't have to tell me what's at stake here. I and the other sisters have spent our lives caring for abandoned and defenseless children, pleading their case before anyone who would listen, praying 1,000,000 prayers for their precious souls. I couldn't count the sleepless nights we've spent, sick with worry about the ones that we've not been able to help. And you dare to come in here and judge us when all you're trying to do is drum up a good feature story for your show.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to judge you. I have a lot of respect for what you've accomplished here.
I'm ashamed of myself. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have spoken to you that way.
This is a very emotional issue. This is not about a news story, sister. My husband and I have become very involved on a personal level. And because we don't know what's happening here, we are confused. Now, excuse me for being so honest, but I feel that you have not been honest with me.
About what?
Derek Griffin. I've seen him talk with you. I've seen him talk with the children. And all of a sudden, the children wouldn't talk to me anymore when he came and objected to me being here. What is it? Is it me? Is it that there's something here that he doesn't want publicized?
Perhaps he's afraid we'll be exploited due to his notoriety. After all, he is a rather glamorous international figure. He's been so good to us. I feel obliged to respect his wishes. And I hope you will do the same. We've looked everywhere. One of the other boys told me that Buck went downstairs to the basement. So Sisters Gabrielle and Sisters Felicity and I went downstairs and searched for him, but we couldn't find him.
Would it be all right if I make a quick check by myself?
Oh, I'd be grateful. If he runs away again, we may have to be forced to send him to a correctional facility, and I would hate to be forced into doing that.
Yeah.
I better take you home.
I want to stay and see if Buck's okay.
Listen, I'll call you as soon as he turns up.
Okay. But don't forget.
Okay, well, I'll meet you back here.
All right.
Okay.
You take care, Brenda.
I'll show you the way to the basement. You better take a flashlight. It's like a maze down there. The nooks and crannies that I've never seen. I've always suspected that Buck found one of them, and that's where he used to go sometimes when we go to hide.
Nobody else but me is allowed in here. It's my secret hideout.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
Does Sister Allegra know about this?
No, she thinks you're down in the basement, but she doesn't know for sure. So what, are you going to throw me out?
If you swear not to look at anything.
Buck, I already did. And if I close my eyes, I'm probably going to fall down.
Fine. But if you swear not to tell anybody what's down here.
Okay. So when did you find this place?
I found it a long time ago. I used to play Explorer down in the cellar, and one time I looked behind that old bookcase out there, and here it was. I know other people has come down here. There's writing on the wall. The night's my favorite, even though it's rusty.
Friends forever, friends for life, brothers united.
There were 4 boys. You can't tell what they look like, though. I guess just because the picture's too old.
Well, they were probably boys from the old orphanage.
You're right, and maybe this was their clubhouse, but I know for a fact that that was the tunnel that caved in a long time ago.
I think you're right about that. So, what do you do down here?
Well, I make believe that I'm in the club, and these 4 boys are my best buddies. And then, after we finish playing, I'd go upstairs, and there'd be my mom and dad, my real mom and dad, and Hallie's too. They'd be happy to see me, and my dad then would help me with my homework. Promise not to tell anybody that I said that.
Oh, of course not. You know, I used to do something just like that. Because I would have given anything if my father would have been around more, but he had a lot of growing up to do. Even after I was born, and he had to go away to do it, I guess. My mother did the best she could, and I really love her a lot, but without my dad around, it always felt like something was missing.
Yeah. They're pretty nice. To all of us. It's just that it's not a real home. And they're not our real parents.
Yeah, but you're lucky that you have a close relationship with your sister. You know, my brother and I, we always had problems because I used to boss him around a lot. It was like I was pretending to be my father, but my father in a bad mood, so that my brother would be as mad at me as I felt toward my dad. And of course, going around like that, you know, I didn't have any friends. I figured nobody understood me, so I wasn't even going to give him a chance. I didn't get anywhere like that.
You got to be a detective.
Oh, well, yeah, eventually, because I grew up. You know, I figured out how. But for a long time, I was in a tunnel. And I just couldn't find my way to get up into the daylight and be with the other people.
You know, I like being in a tunnel.
Well, it's okay once in a while, but it's not where you live. You know, these kids in this picture, whoever they are, they're not kids anymore. They grew up and went away. And that is what you're going to have to do, Buck. You're going to have to learn to make real friends in the real world and find a place for yourself. And if it's not there, ready and waiting for you right now, don't worry, because you'll make one up. Just like I did. Because you're a smart kid.
You mean I could be a detective too?
I don't see why not. But first you got to do some other things, like grow up and finish school. And learn how to be proud of yourself. And remember, you have a real flesh and blood sister up there who really loves you. And if you want to keep being a good brother to her, you got to make sure you don't spend too much time down here playing make-believe.
I don't want Hallie to go.
I know you don't, Buck.
Hey, I admit, I've been bossy to her. But I wouldn't anymore if she'd stay.
Yeah, well, I can't make any big promises, but I have a really strong feeling that things are going to be okay for you and your sister, that you're going to be together. You might even end up with 2 parents to take care of you.
Who do you think they'll be?
Well, I have this picture in my mind, but their faces are kind of fuzzy, you know, like in the photograph. But they are getting clearer. The important thing, Buck, is for you to keep believing in yourself. You are not alone, and you're a good boy. By the way, how did you get that name? Buck is not really your name, is it?
No, I picked it out. Actually, my real name is Timothy.
Timothy?
But you promised not to tell anybody, right?
Oh, absolutely. My lips are sealed. Buck. Well, this is amazing. You feel like going upstairs again?
It's some moon, isn't it? Mind if I sit down for a minute? No. Thanks. I was dropping Brandon off next door, and I saw you sitting out here, and it reminded me of old times. The way we'd sit out here and watch the sun go down, you remember?
How could I forget? I saw the report you did on the children in the home. It was good. It was very emotional. Have you had any luck finding parents for the children?
No. No, a lot of sympathy, no takers.
Maybe I ought to consider adopting them.
What?
That is, if you can't find any suitable parents.
You're not serious, are you?
If anybody else asked you that question, would you ask them if they were serious?
If they were a young, single woman, yeah, I would.
Isn't the woman adopting the one child a young, single woman?
Yeah, but she is older than you, and she's more settled in her life.
I see.
Boy. You know, all I do is say the wrong things with you, Kelly.
No, Eden, it's not what you say, it's what you think. It's that you don't have a very high opinion of me.
That's not true. I love you very much.
Yes, exactly, except for all of the faults that I come with.
What?
Forget it. I bore myself.
No, I really want to hear this. You know, I want us to talk. I don't want there to be this Cold War between us. Kelly, you and I were 2 little girls with no mother. You used to come to me for advice. We'd talk about your problems. You had a date. We'd pick out a dress for you. I'd do your hair. You go out. You come home. We'd lay in bed at night and we'd talk about it. When I went away to Europe, I thought when I came back, everything was going to be the way it was. But then Robert's in your life. He leaves and you hate me. I don't hate you. I want my sister back.
Well, you can't have her back. I know that sometimes I feel like I'm a little girl, but I know I'm not, Eden, and I resent you trying to keep me there.
I don't think that's what I'm doing, Kelly.
Listen, you don't approve of me. You don't like the way I live my life. Why don't you just admit it?
I admit that I see you struggling after you've gone through a rough time. I don't always agree with the way you do things, but does accepting you as an adult mean that I have to agree with everything you do?
Eden, your struggles are always so meaningful, and mine aren't. I mean, mine are the eyes roll time, and everybody's embarrassed for little Kelly, and I can't live that way. I can't, and I won't. And if it means that I have to separate myself from you and from my family, then that's it.
If you see Brandon again, tell him I changed my mind. And then I'll be happy to have dinner with him tomorrow.
I'll call him as soon as I get home.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. I don't know whether I am.
You know, Cruz, I realized something on the way over here. I know we talked about it and we said it wasn't the right decision about adopting Buck and Hallie. And we had good reasons then and we have good reasons now. But honestly, I can't see splitting them up. I mean, if nobody wants to adopt them, I can't see the two of them being separated. So I think we have to take them and we have to make it work. And I'll take full responsibility. I'll cut back my hours at work.
Okay, baby.
No,
wait,
really, I really mean it.
Wait, darling. I was about to make the same speech to you. Decisions like this, sometimes they just make themselves, despite all the good arguments in the world.
I love you so much.
And I love those kids. You love me enough to stop on the way home and get some strawberries so we could have shortcake tonight?
If you whip the cream.
That's a deal.
You know, we're going to have to be doing a lot of extra work and making shortcake for 6 if this really happens. Are you prepared for that?
Thank God.